Tonight, let your mind drift into a quieter corner of Zootopia, a city that still glows after dark, even though small fractures hide beneath its shining streets. 2 years have passed since the night howlers, yet something soft and unspoken moves through the city, an invisible thread between a rabbit and a fox, whispered about but never named. As we open the sealed files once locked away, we step into a deeper story, a stolen history, a returning species, and a bond tested by truth itself. If you enjoy these journeys, please like, share, and subscribe. Tell me where you're listening from, what time it is, and the topics you'd love to explore. Your thoughts may guide our next adventure. To understand the story that unfolds in Zootopia's second great crisis, we must first step back and look at the city not as a shining symbol on a tourist brochure, but as a living organism, breathing, shifting, and carrying old scars beneath its fur and feathered exterior. 2 years have passed since the night howlers incident restored a fragile sense of calm, yet the city has not healed in equal measure. What looks like harmony on the surface is held together by tension so thin, even a whisper of truth could tear it apart. In this era, after night howlers, predator and prey walk side by side, but the political balance between them is more brittle than ever. Every speech calling for unity is followed by a private meeting about maintaining stability. Every warm public gesture is mirrored by a quiet tightening of the system. Zootopia has always prided itself on the idea that anyone can be anything, yet the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes that the slogan was never a description, only an aspiration. For in the quiet corners of the city, something old is rising again. The third species question, the reptiles, the birds of prey, the amphibious clans, entire branches of the animal kingdom erased from Zootopia's founding narrative, treated as footnotes or threats, depending on which version of history one reads. Their absence was once merely a political inconvenience. Now, it is the spark that threatens to ignite everything. At the heart of this new unrest sits the founding codex, a relic older than the city's towers, older than the optimistic slogans printed on its posters. It contains the raw truth, how Zootopia was really built, why certain species were pushed to the margins, and what agreements were struck in the shadows so the city could rise without challenge. For decades, the Codex slept behind sealed doors, referenced only in restricted archives, and whispered about by scholars who were told to stop asking questions. But history never stays buried forever. Not in a city built on the idea of fairness. Then there is Gary Desnake, the reptilian philosopher who refuses to let the past remain silent. He speaks in calm tones, measured words, and uncomfortable truths. His message is not violent, but it is dangerous. Dangerous precisely because it is clear, articulate, and impossible to dismiss. For the reptiles, who have waited generations to be acknowledged, Gary's presence feels like the first pulse of long-frozen blood finally thawing. And caught at the crossroads of these forces stand Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde, the unlikely duo who once saved the city and became symbols of what it could be. Their bond, predator and prey, woven together in trust, is powerful, perhaps too powerful. To some in the government, it is inspiring. To others, it is unpredictable, uncontrollable, and politically inconvenient. A city built on managed harmony is wary of bonds that cannot be managed. In many ways, Judy and Nick embody the quiet metaphor at the heart of this story, that true connection defies instinct, history, and the boundaries others draw for us. And in a world where old truths are rising to the surface, their bond becomes more than friendship. It becomes a question, a challenge, a possibility, one that may change Zootopia forever. If you stand in the heart of Zootopia on the night of its centennial celebration, you might think the city has never been more radiant. Light pours across the main square in warm gold and calm blue, blending into a gentle shimmer that dances on glass towers and polished stone roads. From a distance, it looks like a vision of harmony, predator and prey gathered shoulder to shoulder, united under the banners of 100 years of progress. But when a city glows too brightly, it often means it is trying to hide the shadows under its feet. The Centennial Gala feels like a dream, crafted with immaculate precision. Every banner is perfectly placed. Every speech is flowed with practiced optimism. Leaders speak of unity, of equality, of a future where all mammals walk hand in hand. Yet beneath each phrase, you can sense something tightening, a tension like the faint hum of a wire stretched too far. The crowd claps politely, but their eyes flicker. Their ears swivel. They hear what is said and what is not said. And in the center of it all stand two figures whose presence is both celebrated and feared, Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. Their images are displayed proudly across the stage, the first prey-predator partnership to ever reshape Zootopia's path. To many, they are hope incarnate. To others, especially those who benefit from the delicate balance of political power, they are an unpredictable variable, a symbol that inspires the kind of change you cannot control once it begins moving. The city administration places them at the gala's front row, framed by spotlights as champions of unity. Yet if you listen closely, you might notice the way certain officials glance at them, not with admiration, but calculation. Symbols are useful until they gain too much influence. Beyond the ceremony, the central districts of Zootopia continue their nightly routines, but something subtle has shifted. Savannah Central still glitters with its rhythmic neon lights. Sahara Square still radiates desert warmth. Tundra Town still hums with its icy, familiar calm. Everything looks the same, but feels different, as though the city is holding its breath. Choke points and security posts have become more frequent. Officers stand at intersections where they never used to. Their smiles are polite, but their stance is alert, scanning every passerby with an unspoken worry. The official explanation is simple, standard precaution for a landmark celebration. Yet the number of officers, the pattern of their positions, the careful choreography of watching without appearing to watch, it suggests something else entirely, something hidden. If you wander deeper into the side streets near the center, night sounds soften, replaced by a strange quietness. Windows are shuttered earlier than usual. Conversations hush as strangers approach. The city is still beautiful, still familiar, but it has begun to feel like a stage set, carefully arranged, so the audience sees only what the director intends. A gala can hide a fracture, a spotlight can blind the eyes, and a century of harmony can conceal the first signs of a story about to break open. Here, beneath the shining mask, Zootopia whispers the truth, that peace, when built on unspoken fears, is only ever one breath away from unraveling. If the shining plazas of Zootopia are a mask, then the underlayers beneath them are the forgotten face, quiet, cold, and carved with memories no one is meant to see. Few citizens ever acknowledge these places, and fewer still dare to step into them. But they exist, like the underside of a great bridge, essential to its structure, yet hidden from the sun. The first of these spaces is Subterra, the buried city of the reptiles. Long before Zootopia became a symbol of mammalian unity, reptiles shaped these tunnels as their home, spiraling corridors, archways carved with geometric patterns, and neon lines that once pulsed like veins of light beneath the earth. Now those neon streaks lie dead. The spirals have faded beneath layers of moss, and the signs, once written in languages of scales and curved tongues, have been clawed off, leaving only the ghost of letters no one wishes to remember. When you walk through Subterra, the sound that accompanies you is not silence, but something deeper, the absence of a history that should have been preserved. The walls still hold warmth in places, as though stories cling to them, refusing to let go. This is not the dangerous zone the government labels it to be. It is a graveyard for truths that could challenge the official narrative if ever brought into daylight. And then there is Dustline, the wind-scarred frontier of the Sky Hunters. It lies far from the public transit routes, as if the city planners deliberately curved every road away from it. The land is barren, shaped by gusts so sharp they sound like whispers cutting through sand. Old watchtowers stand crooked against the horizon, their metal frames rusted yet stubbornly present. They once monitored flight patterns, unauthorized movements, as the archived records phrase it. But their true purpose has been lost, or perhaps deliberately hidden. Every few steps, you find remnants of nests made long ago by raptors who once patrolled these skies. Feathers, bones, talon-scratched stones, markers of a culture never included in Zootopia's public history. Some surfaces bear inscriptions not found in any mammalian lexicon. Looping strokes, angular marks, symbols that seem part warning, part prayer. Their meaning has faded, but the feeling they evoke remains unmistakable. Dustline was not abandoned willingly. Security drones pass overhead more often than they should. Their presence feels less like protection and more like containment. Why guard a wasteland so heavily? Why maintain surveillance over a region declared irrelevant? Questions like these drift through Dustline like the wind, soft, persistent, unwilling to vanish. Together, Subterra and Dustline form a hidden anatomy beneath Zootopia's glittering surface. One is the buried heart of a species erased from modern narrative. The other, the severed wing of a people pushed beyond the borders of recognition. These places do not shout, they do not accuse, they simply remain, waiting for someone to notice the gaps in the story. And in the quiet of these shadows, a truth begins to stir, one that the city can no longer keep underground. Beyond the polished districts, and beneath the abandoned layers, there exists a third kind of space, one the city refuses to acknowledge at all. These are not simply forgotten zones, they are places Zootopia actively removes from its public memory, like a wound sutured too tightly, leaving an uneven scar beneath the fur. The most striking of these hidden territories is the Aquatic Ring, a water city once home to amphibious and semi-reptilian species. Officially, the ring does not exist. On every public map, the rivers curve neatly, the canals end cleanly, and the lake systems appear shallow and empty. But if you enter through the right culvert at the right hour of night, when the tide dips and the moonlight bends into the tunnels, you will find an entire district submerged in a soft blue hush. Glassed corridors stretch across underwater ravines, cracked but still holding. Coral-inspired structures rise like frozen flames, their surfaces dulled by time yet undeniably beautiful. Schools of small fish drift through broken windows, and the abandoned homes inside glow faintly with algae that pulse like breathing lights. It feels less like a ruined city and more like a dream someone tried to erase before it was finished. Waterways leading into the ring are sealed by ZPD gates labeled hazardous. Traffic through them is temporarily restricted, though no one can recall a time when they were ever open. Yet some nights, faint lantern-like lights appear deep within the waters, moving slowly as though guided by hands. No official report acknowledges these sightings. What remains in the aquatic ring proves something the public narrative denies, that amphibious species once had a place in Zootopia's structure, perhaps even equal footing. Symbols carved into the coral walls depict serpents intertwined with frogs, turtles, and scaled spirits, forming contracts and alliances. These images contradict nearly every textbook written about the city's founding, and that is precisely why the ring slipped beneath the surface of both water and memory. Even more mysterious than the ring is the territory known in internal files as the unrecorded layer, a space that appears in no census, no zoning list, no maintenance log, yet physically exists beneath the industrial outskirts. Its passages are shaped by forgotten purpose, tunnels that lead nowhere, to factories with equipment frozen mid-production, power conduits without digital tags or maintenance codes. Everywhere you look, something feels sealed, not abandoned, but deliberately walled off, as if Zootopia attempted to amputate a limb not because it was injured, but because it revealed too much about what came before. The air in these undeclared zones carries a strange stillness, like a breath held too long. Pipes hum faintly, even though no power should be flowing through them. Some walls display claw marks, neither predator nor prey in origin, and yet the metadata for these areas is missing entirely from the city's archives. Here, in these unspoken spaces, you feel the quiet truth that a city can hide many things: species, histories, even entire neighborhoods. But the structures themselves remember. Stone remembers, water remembers, and the places the city tried to forget are beginning to wake. To understand the soul of Zootopia, you must first understand the hands that shaped it. And those hands, for over a century, have belonged almost exclusively to mammals, creatures who built not just the city's skyline, but the narrative that holds it together. In the glow of public celebrations, this dominance doesn't seem obvious, but underneath the surface, it forms the spine of Zootopia's political order. The mammalian ruling class does not govern through loud decrees or harsh displays of power. Their strength lies instead in the quiet ability to decide what counts as truth. Through carefully curated textbooks, museum exhibits, and official records, they crafted a version of history that favors them, a story in which mammals founded the city alone, united bravely against chaos, and welcomed diversity from the beginning. It's a comforting tale, simple, clean, and utterly incomplete. In earlier ages, reptiles and birds played vital roles in the shaping of territory, trade routes, and early law, but these contributions vanished from public knowledge through a gradual smoothing of narrative edges, eras rewritten as conflicts, alliances reframed as threats, and entire species rendered invisible through omission. The education system folds these omissions into childhood lessons. The media reinforces them through selective storytelling, not lies, just arrangements of truth. At the top of this arrangement sits the City Governance Board, a council structured along mammalian hierarchy. Prey species dominate the soft power sectors: policy, welfare, intercommunity relations, while predator species hold the roles tied to enforcement, security, and strategic planning. Together, they stabilize the system like a two-column bridge: different strengths, equal necessity, unquestioned authority. Yet even within that balance, an absence lingers. No reptile has ever held a seat. No bird has ever spoken in legislative chambers. Their voices were never silenced because they were never allowed to speak in the first place. Behind locked doors, in the lowest archive floors of the Grand Library, rests the truth the governance prefers to forget. Documents stamped with red seals, maps that contradict modern territory lines, with contracts drawn between species no longer mentioned in public, and buried deepest, the remaining fragments of the founding codex, the single artifact capable of unraveling the official story. Access to this dark tier of records is restricted to a handful of senior officials. Even within government, speaking of it invites caution, not out of fear of punishment, but out of fear of disruption. The prevailing philosophy is simple: maintain stability at all costs. And when stability becomes the highest value, truth is often the first sacrifice. This doesn't make the Mammalian Council malicious, only terrified of what change might bring. After all, if the real history emerges, what else might need to be rethought? Power, territory, identity, the city itself? So they protect the story they built, guarding it like a fragile glass tower. But glass, no matter how polished, cracks when the pressure beneath becomes too heavy. Every city has ghosts, but in Zootopia, the ghosts are not spirits. They are entire species, creatures who once shaped the land, walked its rivers and skies, and spoke in councils now absent from every museum plaque, every classroom poster, and every official retelling of how the city came to be. Their absence is not an accident. It is an intention woven into the city's foundations: the reptile descent. Long before the first mammalian blueprint was drawn, reptiles governed vast stretches of land that Zootopia now claims as its own. Their architecture spiraled, their tunnels pulsed with heat, and their laws valued precision over sentiment. They were not primitive nor chaotic. They were organized, too organized perhaps, for the comfort of the mammalian settlers. As tensions rose, fear took root, not the kind born from instinct, but the kind molded through politics, speeches, and calculated caution. Reptiles were recast as unpredictable, as incompatible, as a danger to the harmonious society mammals wished to build. And so, their removal began, not through war, but through policy, a slow erasure, a relocation disguised as containment. What remains of them now is Subterra, a half-forgotten labyrinth sealed away, like a relic too inconvenient to display. Some see it as a dangerous ruin, but to those who know its history, Subterra is a monument to a civilization pushed beneath the surface. And at the center of this rising awareness stands Gary Desnake, a philosopher whose calm voice threatens the delicate equilibrium that centuries of curated narratives seek to protect. The sky exiles. To the west lies Dustline, where the winds slice through bare earth and silence settles like dust on old bones. This is where the great raptor clans, hawks, eagles, and falcons were sent when the city was first formed. Not welcomed, not integrated, simply placed out of sight. Their wings, once symbols of dominance in open skies, became liabilities within a city built to favor mammals. Their legal status eroded quietly, their rights dissolved in footnotes, their language, rich with sweeping gestures and sky-born metaphors, was banned from public inscriptions. Even their symbols, curved talon marks, spiraling wind signs, were scrubbed from government walls. Relations with CPD deteriorated long ago. Patrol drones watched Dustline more closely than any other region, as if afraid that memories carried in feathers might suddenly ignite. The silent amphibians. And then there are the amphibians, neither fully of land nor fully of water, existing in the fluid space between. They once served as bridges between many species, mediating conflicts and maintaining ecological balance. But their soft voices and understated presence made them easy to overlook. Now they linger in hidden pockets of the aquatic ring, scattered along submerged corridors and forgotten marsh channels. Their culture, based on rhythms, bioluminescent signals, and layered harmonics, has been deemed non-essential data by the city archives. A polite phrase for erasable. They are not troublesome. They do not resist. They simply endure, existing like echoes in places the city has chosen not to remember. In these three erased histories, reptile, raptor, amphibian, Zootopia seps, silent truth emerges that harmony built on omission is fragile, and the voices pushed aside are beginning to gather at the edges of the map, ready to be heard again. If Zootopia is a vast ecosystem of competing histories, then the ZPD is the organ tasked with keeping that ecosystem contained. It stands tall in the public eye as a symbol of fairness, order, and civic duty. But like every institution built on centuries of layered compromises, its power comes not only from what it enforces, but from what it restricts. Inside its polished walls, the hierarchy is unmistakably mammalian. Predator and prey share uniforms, but not influence. Roles are carefully distributed along unspoken lines. Prey species dominate administrative and community functions, while predators fill enforcement-heavy positions. It's a structure modeled after the very instincts the city claims to have surpassed. Quietly, efficiently, the system sustains itself. In the deeper floors of ZPD headquarters, access grows narrower. Security clearance becomes a staircase of locked doors. And within those final sealed rooms lie the documents the city refuses to speak of, files on reptiles, raptors, amphibians, and every species categorized as non-integrated. These documents are slipped into metallic drawers, stamped with yellow triangles, reading Restricted Species, Level 5. Only a handful of officers know the breadth of what is hidden there. After the Night Howler's crisis, ZPD changed, not in the way citizens hoped, with openness or introspection, but with caution. An event that began with fear and nearly descended into chaos left a lingering paranoia in the institution's core. Anything unusual, exceptional, or unpredictable was flagged with subtle suspicion, and nothing was more unusual, exceptional, or unpredictable than the partnership that had saved the city itself. Unit 19, Hops and Wild. To civilians, they were a triumph of unity, prey and predator working side by side in perfect sync. They became poster figures for cooperation, understanding, and progress, but internally, within the strategic rooms of ZPD leadership, they were listed as something else entirely. High compatibility pairing, predator bond, dual species synergy. A pairing so effective it broke statistical precedent. A duo whose coordination was measured as exceptionally high in crisis situations, and worst of all, in the eyes of those who feared change. A pair whose bond could not be manipulated through standard command structures. Reports whispered the same unsettling conclusion. Separation inadvisable. Influence unpredictable. What began as admiration slowly shifted into unease, a symbol that strong can inspire, or it can destabilize. It can give hope to species who have long been excluded from the city's inner workings. It can encourage questions that have been avoided for generations. It can spark movements. So when the founding codex vanished, a relic capable of unraveling Zootopia Sep's official narrative, the accusation landed almost too quickly. Judy and Nick, placed under scrutiny, stripped of status, and quietly isolated, became the perfect targets for what some officials needed. A recalibration of influence, a reminder that no duo, no matter how beloved, should overshadow the system that governs them. Unit 19 had saved the city once, but in doing so, they became reminders of what Zootopia could be, and that was something the current order wasn't ready to face. To understand the conflict rising within Zootopia today, we must return to its earliest blueprints, the ones carved not on paper, but on ideology. Long before the city became a shimmering emblem of harmony, it was born from a compromise that favored safety over fairness, stability over inclusion. This compromise became the silent framework on which Zootopia grew. In the beginning, mammals laid the cornerstone of the city, forming councils, drafting charters, and shaping laws that would define the new metropolis. Their intentions were not always malicious. Many simply believed they were building a refuge, a place where predator and prey alike could coexist without fear. But beneath that hopeful vision lay another sentiment, one whispered, rationalized, and eventually codified. Reptiles and birds could not be trusted. These species were labeled biological threats, a phrase crafted with scientific coolness, yet rooted more in ancient fear than in fact. So when the founding agreements were written, reptiles and birds were quietly removed from the equation, not banned outright, just excluded, uninvited, unacknowledged. Their territories were pushed aside, their cultures omitted, their names omitted from the foundational texts. The exclusion became architectural. Roads were built with temperature zones unsuitable for scales. Districts were zoned in ways that left no aerial corridors for large raptors. Neighborhoods and transport hubs were designed to accommodate fur, hoof, and paw, but not feather or scale. It was a city built for many, but not for all. The structural bias was later wrapped in a bright ribbon, the slogan, "In Zootopia, anyone can be anything." But the phrase was not part of the original founding doctrine. It appeared generations later, an invention of the Third Generation Council, created to rebrand the city as a modern, enlightened metropolis, a public relations charm offensive, not a reflection of historical truth. Meanwhile, the original treaties and territorial agreements, the ones that would reveal who truly built what, were sealed away in the restricted vaults of the Grand Library, moved to the deep tier where only senior officials held clearance. They called it preservation, but it was concealment. The governance structure that followed only solidified the divide. Legislative seats were overwhelmingly held by mammals, prey species guiding community affairs, predator species overseeing security and policy execution. Together they formed an elegant balance that excluded everything outside their lineage. Reptiles and birds were not even considered for representation. To include them would require acknowledging the truth that the city had actively erased. Those who questioned the imbalance were gently but firmly silenced, their concerns labeled as disruptive, their motives questioned, their warnings dismissed, threats to public harmony. And so the city continued to grow outward, shining brighter with each decade, while the shadows beneath its foundation deepened, quietly waiting for the day someone would look down and see the cracks running through its core. Zootopia was never truly built for every species. It was built for the species who built the story. Deep in the lowest vault of the Grand Library, far beneath the public floors, filled with bright displays and curated exhibits, there lies a chamber sealed with metal plates and silent alarms. Few know it exists. Even fewer have seen its contents, and at the center of this quiet, cold room rests the object that holds Zootopia's most dangerous truths, the founding codex. It looks unassuming at first glance, a thick, weathered tomy bound in cracked hide, its edges frayed by time. Yet the weight it carries is heavier than any law or decree that came after it, for within its pages, the city's sanitized history is peeled back, layer by layer, revealing the raw and uncomfortable origins the modern world is not prepared to face. Layer 1, the Secret Accords. The first sealed section of the Codex contains treaties written at the city's birth, agreements drafted by the earliest mammalian councils. Their tone is not hopeful or idealistic as public history suggests. Instead, they are coldly strategic. The Accords articulate a plan to secure mammal dominance over the Central Lands by enforcing a policy known as the Non-Participation Clause, a clause that required reptiles, amphibians, and raptors to vacate key territories, relinquish political involvement, and retreat to the margins, not through war, but through legal pressure disguised as necessity. These documents show no malice, only calculation, but sometimes calculation wounds deeper than violence. Layer 2, the erased conflicts. The second layer chronicles a long-forgotten era of conflict, decades of territorial struggle between mammals and reptiles. Contrary to the polished narratives taught in classrooms, the reptiles were not wild, uncontrollable forces. They were structured, strategic, and on several fronts more powerful. Yet the records show how these confrontations were later reframed. Victories by reptiles became episodes of aggression. Losses by mammals became heroic last stands. Entire battles vanished from educational materials, replaced with simplified tales of predator-prey unity. These omissions were not accidental. They shaped the collective memory of a city that wanted peace, but only the kind of peace that validated its chosen identity. Layer 3, the engineered divide. The third and deepest layer exposes the truth that threatens the city sep's foundations more than any forgotten war. The predator-prey divide was not designed for safety, but for control. The Codex reveals that early leaders recognized how difficult it would be to govern a diverse population without a stable axis of identity. So they formalized the instinctual tension between predator and prey, not as a biological reality, but as a political mechanism. Two fixed poles, two roles easily reinforced. A binary that created predictable behavior and predictable loyalty. As long as predator and prey remain the central categories, the absence of reptiles, raptors, and amphibians would go unnoticed, and the mammalian majority would govern uncontested. The founding codex does not accuse, it does not condemn, it simply reveals quietly, relentlessly, the truth beneath the city sep's glittering mask, that Zootopia was shaped not by unity, but by design, and designs once exposed can no longer hold. If one listens closely to the rhythm of Zootopia's history, a pattern emerges, quiet, subtle, but unmistakable. Like the ticking of a clock hidden inside a wall, it marks the same interval again and again. Every 20 to 30 years, the city undergoes a sudden tremor, a crisis, a scandal, a manufactured emergency, not because chaos has arrived, but because truth has come too close. This is Zootopia's political cycle, an unwritten system as old as the city itself. When buried history rises toward the surface, when questions begin to outnumber reassurances, the governing machinery shifts into motion. Files previously considered mundane or sealed. Committees convene late at night. New directives circulate under coded language like public stability and narrative cohesion. Nothing is said aloud, yet everything is understood. The cycle follows a precise choreography. First, a whisper of truth begins to spread, an artifact uncovered, a scholar asking the wrong question, a district noticing discrepancies in old maps. It never matters what sparks it. What matters is that the spark exists. Next comes the creation of a crisis. The city redirects attention toward a sudden threat, a shocking disappearance, or a scandalous revelation. The issue is rarely fabricated. It is merely magnified, shaped, and framed to draw every eye away from the truth that was rising. Fear is a powerful spotlight, and Zootopia has learned to wield it gently, expertly. Once the public gaze is fixed elsewhere, the third phase begins. Selective disappearance, sensitive documents vanish. Old treaties are reclassified. Research logs are moved to temporary review before slipping quietly into the vault. By the time the crisis dies down, the truth has been buried again, deeper than before. But the most delicate part of the cycle is the scapegoat protocol, a system refined over generations. A symbol must be chosen, someone recognizable enough to draw attention, immeasurable enough to cause alarm, but isolated enough to be sacrificed for the sake of stability. History books never mention these figures. They appear only briefly in archival traces before being folded back into oblivion. In this generation, the chosen figures were Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde. The timing was too precise to be coincidence. As academics quietly questioned the absence of reptilian history, as fringe communities began sharing stories of Dustline and Subterra, as rumors surfaced about the existence of the founding codex. The codex was stolen. The city needed someone to blame, not criminals. symbols, and there were no symbols brighter, more beloved, or more disruptive than Judy and Nick, a prey and a predator whose partnership challenged the very binary the city depended on. Their unity hinted at a different kind of future, one that did not pivot on fear or instinct. To some, they represented hope. To others, risk. So the system moved as it always does. They were suspended, separated from ZPD, stripped of influence, under the guise of procedure, not because they were guilty, but because they were visible. In Zootopia's political cycle, visibility is the greatest danger of all. And as the city quietly resets its narrative once more, the question lingers in the air like a held breath. How many times can the truth be buried before it finally forces its way back to the surface? Before we go any deeper into this story, let's take a moment to breathe, to settle into the quiet spaces that exist beneath every city, every thought, and every heartbeat. Wherever you are listening from, your room, your bed, a dim corner of the night, I invite you to gently draw your awareness inward. Let Zootopia's nighttime glow become a soft backdrop in your imagination. Inhale, slowly, gently, as if you are breathing in the faint warmth of streetlights along Savannah Central. Imagine the city around you dimming to a calm hush. The storefronts close one by one. The chatter fades. Only a pair of footfalls remain, soft, measured, like Judy and Nick walking side by side beneath the moonlit bridges. Let that rhythm guide your breath. Let it anchor you. And now, just hold the breath for a moment. Hold. Feel the stillness settle across your chest, like the soft blanket of fog drifting across the rooftops. In this pause, imagine you can sense the threads that connect every creature in the city. Predators, prey, voices forgotten, voices rising again. Feel how these connections pulse gently beneath everything, the way unseen circuits hum beneath the pavement. In this quiet, there is no conflict, no hierarchy, only breath, shared like the subtle harmony between Judy and Nick, steady and unspoken. And now, slowly, gently, exhale. Feel the breath release from your body, like mist rolling down the hidden stairways into Subterra. Let everything you've been holding, worry, tension, the noise of the day, flow out with it. Imagine it all dissolving into the thin layer of white fog that rests above the old reptilian tunnels, a place where forgotten stories sleep peacefully in the dark. Let that fog absorb every thought you no longer need. Take another slow inhale, imagining the shimmering blue glow of the aquatic ring reflecting on the water's surface. Let that light soften the edges of your mind, the no urgency, no expectations, only gentle drifting. Hold the breath, just briefly, as though you're listening for a distant echo, maybe the flap of wings in dust line, or the gentle drip of water in an abandoned canal. Let yourself rest in that quiet echo. Let it fill you, and now, exhale again, long and slow. Picture the fog rising from Subterra, thinning into the night sky, carrying away the last traces of tension from your shoulders, your neck, the space between your eyes. Feel your body settling deeper, heavier, calmer. You are safe here. You are held in the quiet pulse of a city learning to breathe again. The stories of Zootopia will continue their slow unfolding, but for now, you are allowed to rest. Let your breath find a gentle rhythm. In the Maps, Balsa Stenner Pelfi, hold a sitter, and let each cycle bring you a little deeper into ease. This moment belongs entirely to you. Stay here as long as you like, drifting, softening, letting the night carry you. Zootopia is not only a tale of harmony, it is a reminder that even the brightest cities carry hidden truths beneath their foundations. Some stories are buried to preserve a fragile sense of order, yet trust, once formed, can outgrow fear and history alike. Judy and Nick stand as quiet proof of that, the kind of bond that survives beyond instinct, beyond expectation. Thank you for wandering through these hidden files with me. If tonight you find yourself thinking of them, perhaps it is only the soft echo of 2 footsteps in Subterra. Sleep well in the city that never truly sleeps.